I don't know if you've been following all the different activities that China goes through over the years, from trials about people who are trying to rise up against the government to shutting down dissent. But the latest one, mentioned in today's news, about a man who's on trial for basically trying to overthrow the government, features a confession by the man, how he said that when he went overseas, he attended some constitutional discussion groups, basically some workshops on how to have democracy and a constitution. And it put ideas into his head that when he came back to China, he wanted to overthrow their socialist way of life. He said that he was very sorry for his actions in his written confession, which was introduced during his trial. And I'm curious, at one point, as we're reading this and we're thinking to ourselves, oh my goodness, what barbarians. They don't permit people to think for themselves. They're throwing a man in prison for advocating for democracy. How different is that from what the United States does to people who protest against something that they don't like? And I want you to take this very seriously and don't react emotionally about Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter or anything else that is currently trying to divide us in this country. Think about it this way. If I try to tell you what to think, if I tell you that what you think is wrong, and then I try to put you in a cage for thinking something different, doesn't that make me a monster? If somebody else does it to you, wouldn't that make them a monster? Well, why is it okay for a government to do that? Why is it that people cannot have their own thoughts about things? And I'll tell you why. It comes down to this collectivist mentality that somehow we all are in this boat together and we all have to chart some common future for our future generations. It's bunk. Okay, and it's the socialism that this guy was standing up to in China. It's everywhere. It's in the United States. It's in the UK. It's in every country. In fact, any place that has a government buys into a collectivist strategy in one way or another. The only way an individual can be truly free is if the individual is living on his or her own. And unless people say, "Oh, that's just naive. You can't live in society with people, everybody." No. You can. You can live at peace with people without having to control them. Look at what happens in a supermarket. When you go to a supermarket, it is anarchy, basically. They leave food right out where people can just take it, and they rely on the goodness of people to say, I'm going to buy this item right here, taking it up to the front, and purchasing it instead of just taking it and leave. If you see somebody looking at a tomato that you would like to have for yourself, you don't just go over there and start clubbing them on the head and take that tomato from them, do you? No. You're like, oh, I guess he got there first. That'll be his tomato. And then you go and you look at the other ones that are there, and you find one that you want. If that can happen in a supermarket, then it can certainly happen in your neighborhood, can't it? We don't have to have someone coming in and making up rules for the grocery market. They don't have to post security guards every 15 feet in the security market, the supermarket, to make sure that people are following the rules. Now, I understand that in recent days, they've had to put stop-loss prevention officers at the doors because more and more people have been stealing. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are encouraging people to steal if there's not somebody watching them and preventing them from it. Because we're basically telling them, we expect you to steal. Instead, we should be telling people, we expect you not to steal. There will be consequences if you do, but we're not going to watch you, follow you around, and make you obey rules. We're going to make you, or expect you, that is, to act like a grown-up. It's my 2 cents. Love to engage you on the topic. Send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com, or call me on the hotline, 907-458-0495. Thanks.